Okay, brothers and sisters, it is February 16th of the year 2016. I'm here at the Arizona State Legislature. This will be on and off coverage. I'm on my little phone here. So I'll go as long as I can with my power. I just wanted to tell you what is going on right now. Whether you're watching this now or later, just some things that you'd be interested in knowing. Earlier today, and I should say I'm here at the Arizona Koch brothers state legislature. Earlier today, we had a bill that was passed basically because the evil Kenyan Muslim President Obama was trying to take our guns. It was passed by your crazy aunt. It was sponsored, I believe, by your crazy aunt, aka Crazy Aunt Sylvia Allen, state senator, and Judy Burgess, the Ma Kettle of the Arizona Senate and House, I like to call her, because she once got in my face, very angry that I had the audacity to testify as a citizen against her. I felt that she would have capped my arse if she had the chance. So anyways, they passed a bill because Obama's trying to take our guns. They got that out, and the only sad thing is, two of the Democrats, or three or whatever, and they were outnumbered, okay, so I'm not saying I don't totally sympathize with them, did not show up for the committee hearing, and I did verify with the staffers here in the Arizona Senate, some young folks, different people, I verified this, that they weren't in caucus, so I guess these Democrats that didn't show up for this anti-Obama bill, it was, basically just a crazy right-wing extremist bill, didn't even show up to vote against it. I can understand because they're beat down all the time and we don't show up enough to support them, but still I believe they should have been there. And I, unfortunately, had I known as a Democrat and as a progressive that they weren't going to show up to testify against this crazy right-wing extremist bill by Sylvia Allen and the rest of them, I would have testified as a citizen against it. So I messed up because I thought our Democrats would be there. So anyways, some of the bills that I want you to in the afternoon here on 2/16, the year 2016, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the state Koch brothers Arizona State Legislature. The state Senate came out of session, committee of the whole, and they are finishing up on their committees. The State House, I believe, is still in session, so they're waiting. They're going to run late so they can start going into the committee. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose. Here in Arizona, it's gotten really hot, really fast. We're almost 20 degrees above normal, so everything's blooming, and I have bad allergies. But anyways, let's start off first with the Senate. Some of the bills I was interested in. There is an interesting bill. It was SB 1486, entitled Presidential Preference Election Appropriation. So anything messing with the primaries is very interesting. I believe that I do have it right here. Let me make sure. This bill was called 1486. All right, and basically, it's interesting. I'll have to check into it more, but it says it repeals the statute requiring that a presidential preference election, the PPE is the acronym, be held, and appropriates monies from the state general fund in fiscal year 2016. It repeals that. And then I guess they say the things that are changing. One, the provision repeals current statute requiring that a presidential preference election be held. And number two, establishes a new process for submittal of nominees' information for a political party's national convention. On completion of a national convention and the nomination of a party's candidates for president and vice president, requires the chairman of the national political party to provide the following information. So I guess these are the things that are changing. Each nominee's name, residence, address, and mailing address, and B, the name of the political party that nominated the nominees. So many of you are experts out there on this bill. I just wanted you to know about it. Of course, it passed, and apparently there were two against, which are probably Democrats. So we'll have to go back and listen to the the recorded live testimony, which unfortunately I didn't get to hear. This went through really fast. It was the first bill. Oh, and there's a third provision that's changing the old law about presidential preference elections. C, the exact manner for printing the nominee's name on the ballot. Oh, more things. Sorry. It exempts political party nominees for president and vice president. Appropriates approximately $6 million from the general fund 2015-2016 to the Secretary of State, in addition to monies already appropriated. So anyways, all of this is basically a bill that I'm very interested in. You can check on, go back and watch, and you can put your comments as to what it's about. But as it pertains to the presidential preference election, it's SB 1486. So anything dealing with that's very important. Then another bill that passed out was the drone bill, I believe sponsored, I believe, by Senator Kavanaugh. So it was 6-2, even though it probably was Democrats. I'm not sure on that one. Another interesting one on process servers for motor vehicle records. Now, instead of just, I guess, disclosing, ADOT, allows certain personal information to be disclosed to licensed attorneys or private investigators if they're licensed with court proceedings, all that, service of process. Now, a process server is an officer of the court, so they want to let certain process servers be allowed to do that. It's going to allow the Department of Transportation to disclose personal information to a certified process server pursuant to a court order for use in connection with the court proceedings. So they're giving more power. It's spreading out more people who can get a hold of our personal records process servers. Those are some of them. The other ones I'm waiting to testify on are prohibition on photo radar, which I know a lot of you are against, but politicians know that too, and I don't know if I'm against them necessarily. I know you all hate that, but that's a good thing. I'm not a politician, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's a House Bill 2540. It's going to go through the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. It's essentially called Prohibition Photo Radar. The other one I'm very interested in, our good friend is here lobbying to make changes on the bill. It's got good parts in it, is HB 2526. This is dealing with pets and extends the time they can live before they're put down. But the controversy with the bill, from what I understand with animal rights advocates, is that it shortens the time that a person can come back if they find their dog. If they come back 3 days later and find their pet, then they have to go through the whole process again, if they're lucky, if their dog's still there. But instead of having like 3 or 4 days or whatever it was before, if this law passes, for you to come claim your pet, now it's only 48 hours. So yes, your pet could live longer. They won't supposedly put down the pet as fast with this bill, HB 2526, but it also shortens the time that you can get back to get your dog before somebody else can adopt it legally. And then there's this other bill. It sounds controversial, something about limiting pregnant mothers with marijuana, which to me is unnecessary, because already, I mean, if you're if they're going to do that, why not pass a bill specifically saying pregnant mothers can't drink alcohol? Because these bills are already there are laws already on the books for you endangering your child. This is just a anti-legalization marijuana people that believe in private prisons and keeping people in jail. So it's just these so-called conservatives trying to make something, making it harder, go after the pregnant mothers who are on marijuana. It sounds great. Again, another dog whistle issue. Probably some Democrats will go along for it because they're afraid. But like I said, if you're going to do that, then pass a specific law to go against the evil pregnant mothers who drank alcohol. Okay, because we already have rules on the books that will go after them for endangering their unborn child. And there's another bill, HB 2592. This is interesting. It's called Non-Profit Electronic Voting. So I haven't had a chance to look at it, but you might want to consider it. I'm going to go back. The House of Representatives might be out of session and going into committee. I put down that I was going to speak on these bills. My phone will only last a certain amount of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the House of Representatives building. I'm wearing Levi pants and a semi-formal shirt amongst all the suits and the lobbyists and the Koch brothers people who have bought off our legislature. And yes, brothers and sisters, we as progressives need to get out here, because I'm going to say right now that plenty of conservatives show up, plenty of lobbyists show up, and our Democratic state legislators are getting Stockholm syndrome, or they're just caving. The governor's making little pork deals with them, and the Republicans in charge of the House, the Senate president, the House Speaker, these Republicans go and make secret little deals of pork. I'm in the main plaza area between the State House of Representatives and the Senate, and there's the governor's dome right there. I probably will have to turn my camera back on me because people are going to get angry if they see that I'm filming them. So now I'm going to put this back on me, and let's see if I can do that. Oh, it's not working. There it is. Okay, there I am. All right, the sun is making my face as a shadow, so I'm sorry about that. We'll be out of the sun in just a moment. I'll probably stop the broadcast, or I'll start whispering when I come in here. I don't want to get kicked out of here because I'm just a peasant. Damn it, I'm not just a peasant. I'm a fighting peasant. Anyways, we're going in. And so the Senate was out a long time ago. Who knows what's going on? But I'm going to tell you that I am disappointed today, though, because even though I know the Democrats are outnumbered, they didn't show up, and I don't know why. They should have at least showed up to oppose this bill, which our crazy Aunt Sylvia Allen was really insulting to our president. And, the Democrats could have showed up on the committee. Had I known, being the only Democrat there, I'm not a representative or a state senator, I would have testified against it. So that's what's going on right now that I know of. So far, I've seen your favorite people, I believe Lesko, one of the people here in the ledge, and I've also seen the Secretary of State. And as you can see over here, I'll show you right now, the flags are still flying at half-mast. And yes, condolences to his family, but I'm sorry, Scalia was a corporate fascist, but I hope he rests in peace. Condolences to his family, even though, again, he was a corporate fascist. And is why our Supreme Court is like sold out to the Koch brothers. So anyways, that's what's going on. Let me show you something quickly here. Another thing I want to note to you here on February 16th of the year 2016 is that over here, I find something very interesting. This is personal to me. This is a monument. I'm going to turn the camera around for you to see this. This is in the very front. Hopefully the sun will not block your view of this. This is a monument to our war heroes, and what I find ironic and very interesting is up at the top you have John Henry Pruitt, Congressional Medal of Honor winner. Below him you have Sylvester S. Herrera, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and Ira Hayes, hero of Iwo Jima, and the Navajo Code Talkers. Well, what I find interesting, brothers and sisters, with this monument, and I'm going to turn the camera around again, is that I got to meet Mr. Herrera. It was one of the great honors and moments of my life in 2004. Let me get in the sun so you can see. In 2004, when presidential candidate Kerry came to town, John Kerry, and I shook hands with him. But what I find ironic is when Mr. Herrera came to the United States, he was brought here as a child with no papers. Yet he won a Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of his native-born fellow American soldiers because they were all Americans. They weren't asking him where his papers were at that time. He was brought here not against his will, but he was like a 2-year-old child, but it wasn't his fault. So that didn't stop them from asking, from having him win the Medal of Honor. And of course, above him is Mr. Pruitt, and he was related to the Pruitts, and that's where we had the site of huge protests with the fascist and crime against humanity criminal Joe Arpaio. I just find it ironic that Mr. Herrera's name's below his name. And remember, that day, the governor of Arizona basically said they had a Sylvester S. Herrera Day. And on that day, they said that no Mexican people would be discriminated against in the businesses. He said, you're going to take down all your no Mexican signs. I know, thanks, Leonard, they did it for one day. But what I'm saying is, I just feel that people who are brought here to this country on their own should not, it's not their fault when they're children, should not be blamed. And in fact, this man won a Medal of Honor, saving the lives of his fellow soldiers. He lost his feet, and it was a German machine gun nest. And I believe President Truman at the time said, I'd rather be you. And Mr. Herrera, I guess, couldn't believe it, because here's the president saying, I'd rather be you because you won this Medal of Honor. So anyways, that's one of the monuments. I'm looking around. Today, they had ASU out here kissing up to all of the Republicans and the Democrats. And yes, I do feel they should be paid more, but that's how they get their lunches. You're going to say I'm crazy, but I think we should have a year-round full legislature. So now you all get to hate me because I can hear all of you, the Democrats and the Republicans and the Libertarians, saying, you're nuts. We should not have a year-round legislature. But in California, they do. And I believe that we would be better off to have it. Because think about it. The fascists, the Koch brothers, they don't want government here year-round. Because that means pain in the arses, activists like myself are going to be here reporting to you what's going on to show up to testify. So I'm going to cut off this broadcast for now. I'm going to start a second one, but I do want to take you to one more statue. This is of a statue of Mr. Luke, who was shot down during World War I. And I just want to tell you how it's very interesting, because this is the part that I read, and he is related to a family that owns a car dealership, Luke family. And I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see a statue. And by the way, I did see one year this statue was toppled by a windstorm, and this is like a very, very heavy statue. Now, I'm going to get it out of the sun so you can see better and see if the sun's shining on it. This is an interesting story. He basically was disobeying his commander's orders, and he flew the plane anyways. So like we do in the military, sometimes we, and I'm not saying it's totally bad. I really don't. It was shot down, but basically he was a hero. So they overlooked the part about him being angry with his commander or whatever, and he got a Medal of Honor. And so I'm not sure. The story might go, I guess he resisted the German soldiers. I don't know if they just shot him dead, if he were already dead. But yeah, when his biplane was shot down, that's what happened. And yeah, but when that statue was toppled by a microstorm, I came in the next morning. It was amazing. So that's what's going on here. This broadcast has gone on for about 16 minutes. They're still in session on the floor in the State House. And like I said, there's some interesting bills. The one about pets and some other things going on. They're going after the evil pregnant mothers who smoke marijuana, supposedly, and yet they're not going to make a law for the evil pregnant mothers that drink alcohol, because we already have laws on the books that you don't endanger your children. So it's just dog whistle tactics, And I'm curious to see if any Democrats go along with it. I, of course, if I can be here, will report that to you. It's back on me again. People are walking off, and if you're in another part of the country and you see me sweating, actually, don't be in too much admiration. We were having beautiful weather here. I'm sick of it. I do love Arizona. I was born here in Phoenix, but someday maybe I can get out of here in the summertime. I'm sick of this. It's February. We're going to probably break our record. We're 20 degrees, almost 20 degrees above average. And, there was a story, a meteorologist said this doesn't correlate, that we're going to have 100 degrees in March, but I disagree. I think some crazy stuff is happening, and everybody's happy about it, but it's not too nice right now. I mean, it's all right, but after like 8 months of 100-degree weather, you get really sick of it. So anyways, I'm going to cut off this broadcast. Let me give you one more shot of the Capitol without getting people angry. I don't know if you can see it or not. Well, you can see the silhouette, but the sun is keeping it down. There's our petrified wood over here. You know what? There is something I want to talk to you about later, and I will let you know this right now. I'm going to put it back on me. Today I also noticed another thing. I'm going to walk out to my car so I can charge up the phone again. We have different monuments here, and I noticed, and I'll film this for you later, the Martin Luther King monument, it can barely be read. They're not taking care of it. But lo and behold, the Confederate Sons of Liberty, whatever the heck they're called, that statue is being taken care of just fine. Same thing for the Union families that were people that were killed for being in the Union. Their statue is all muddy and dirty, yet the 10 Commandments right across from it is shiny and brand new. So, I don't know, is it a conspiracy? Maybe not, but I'm just saying, kind of coincidental. Anyways, that's the end of this broadcast. I'm going to go put this stuff back in the car, and I'll let you know if anything else goes on. Thanks. Lennie Clark. And, oh, by the way, I'm running for Senate. I hope you'll sign your signature on one of my nomination petitions. Just contact me below, or go to my website, Lennie 2016, that's LENNIE 2016.com. Thank you very much.